prepper, homesteader, farmer, planner, savvy shopper, whatever you want to call it, it's important to have a well-stocked pantry. In today's video, we're going to share with you some key steps to help you create your own food security and self-sufficiency. Hi, and welcome back to Whitetail Acres Farm. Now, before we jump into things here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so that way you can stay on top of all of our farm and homesteading activities. We've been building on our own food security for many years now, and we've always enjoyed gardening and always saw the value and importance of having some backups of key ingredients in the kitchen. But honestly, it wasn't until the events of 2020 that really opened our eyes and really pushed us on our journey to having a robust pantry and backup supply of a lot of things. And we've really learned a lot from it, and we're hoping that we're able to share what we've learned with you so you can start your own journey to food security too. Now, so the first step is assessing your space. Decide where you're going to store the food, whether it's going to be in your kitchen or a pantry or somewhere else nearby. But you want to be creative but practical about the space. Now, having food close to your kitchen where you're actually going to be using the items increases the probability that you're actually going to use the items, because what you don't want is to be able to get all this food and then have it stored away somewhere and it's just inconvenient and you're not going to use the food, which is just a waste. So the kitchen cabinets are ideal. Pantry is really great too. And if you don't have a pantry, consider converting even a coat closet into a pantry. And I've actually done that before. Before we had this house, we had another house that did not have a pantry, but I was adamant on making sure we stayed on top of our food supply and our inventory. And so we actually did get a closet that we took all of the storage stuff out of, and then I went to the big box store and got one of those metal shelving units and popped that in there, and then I had a quick pantry in a pinch. So it's always a great idea too. Secondly, you're going to want to make sure you have diverse foods like grains and proteins, some canned goods. You want to make sure you have a little bit of snacks in there just for fun and convenience. But really focus on the balance of the carbs, the proteins, the fats, vitamins, minerals, all of that good stuff. So things like rice, pasta, dried beans, canned goods of fruits and vegetables and meats are great. And then peanut butter or any other nut butter is really good to have on hand too. So once you make sure that you have your core items, then you can focus on adding some additional essential items into your stockpile as well. So think like olive oil or avocado oil, whatever kind of oil you want that you use regularly. Spices, flour is really good to have. You want things like that. But let me show you what we have here. So this is our kitchen pantry, and we have a nice stockpile, and now we're not fully organic and healthy, though we try to be very healthy, but we do have convenience foods. It's, it makes things easy. And when you have kids too, it makes it especially easy. But we have a whole slew of pastas. We try to stick with the organic pastas, and that's what we use the most. But for, convenience and just to change things up, we do have the pastaronis, which probably aren't very healthy. And then we have some condiments, some canned goods here of things that we can't grow ourselves. We'll get the canned goods. We always have a healthy supply of seltzers, my guilty pleasure. And then we have our carbs, all of our cooking oils and essentials down there. And then up above, we have some more condiments and carbs and some snacks. And then we also have spices at the top. So this is our nice mix of, backup items that we do use pretty consistently, and again, in our kitchen where it's really close and convenient and we know we're going to use it and go through it. So in addition to making sure that you're having foods on hand that your family's actually going to use, and they're nearby, to the kitchen, so that way it's convenient and you're actually going to use the food, you want to make sure it's stored away in a cool place and a dry place. So we also have our pantry here. But the next thing on the list is to make sure you're rotating through the food. So I did mention that you want to make sure you're actually going through it, but going through it also means using the FIFO system. So first in, first out, and make sure you have everything labeled. So here in our pantry where I have all of our canned goods, you can see I have everything labeled. I have what it is and when I made it. So this helps me with our rotation. So as I'm making new foods and canning things that I'm going to put on the shelves, I will make sure that I pull the old ones forward, and then I will put the new ones in the back. And so that way I'm making sure I'm continually going through the older stuff first and then getting to the newer stuff. So that way nothing goes to waste and we make sure we go through it all. So now that you have a sense of the basics and you have some confidence and a good plan on how you can begin stockpiling some food and building up your inventory in your home, so that way you can have your own peace of mind of self-sufficiency and food security. Are you ready to take it a step further? How about try growing your own food that you can preserve? This is a really great and easy, cost-effective and healthier alternative. We all know, even when you buy some organic foods, you really don't know what you're buying. You're making your best effort, and that's great. And growing your own food is definitely the best option that you could have. So having a garden is really easy. Now, it doesn't have to be a really huge garden. It can be, a smaller garden. If you don't have the space, it can be a container garden. Just grow something the best way that you can, given your resources and the space that you have. When growing your own food in your garden, the easiest way for preserving that food is by freezing it. So that's naturally a first step that people take when they're starting to get into, growing their own food and then finding a way to store it and preserve it. My preferred way, obviously when you saw it in my pantry here, is canning. Canning is an even better option once you're ready to take that step. It's super easy. I know it seems intimidating, but it's really not. Just read up on the basics of it so you feel comfortable. You can watch a few videos. I have several in our canning playlist where you can sit and watch, different things that we've canned and preserved. But canning is super easy. It eliminates the need for freezer space, so you can free that up. And then it's also shelf stable, which is great. So if you have like a power outage or there's like a disaster of some sort, you don't have to worry about the food going bad and spoiling because everything's on the shelf. It's all sealed up and it's a really great option. Now, when starting out, I recommend this book. Now, these are books that I have used for years now. So this is my favorite book. It's the Ball Book of Home Preserving. And this is a great starting point because it has a lot of your basics. It has, like your pickles, like everybody tries to make in the very beginning. Homemade tomato sauce, which is actually super easy to make. It's probably the easiest of all of them. And you have like your vegetables, like your green beans, where you can just pressure can them in water and that's it. Also a very easy one. I guess there's a lot of easy ones. So this is a great book that you can get when you're just starting out and you just want some like really basic foods to start preserving by either pressure canning or water bath canning. And then when it took me a couple years to build up to this one, but now this is my absolute favorite book to use when pressure canning. And it's the complete guide to pressure canning. And it's everything that you need to can meats, vegetables, and more. So this is what I use for soups and stews. I've made some really great things, like right now in our pantry we have French onion soup, we've made tomato soup. I make chili a lot and put that on the shelves. Sometimes we'll eat it as chili, sometimes we'll use it as like a taco dip. Really great. I even just recently made beef burgundy. There's so many great things. So you can get your mix of vegetables and proteins in a quick, easy, ready-made meal that you just pop open a jar and you're good to eat. And that is really helpful to have. I mean, it's great to have all of your standard vegetables, but to be able to have like complete meals, especially, heaven forbid, if there was a disaster of any sort, power outage, anything where you can't really cook, but you have means of heating something up, you already have made meals ready to go. So I really recommend learning how to can. I think that is the best way to start creating some self-sufficiency. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you've gotten some really good ideas on how and where you can start creating your own stockpile of food and supplies in your home for your own family's food security. If you, again, are interested in learning more about gardening or canning, I have a couple playlists that you can check out. Don't hesitate to, leave a question in the comments, and we're more than happy to get back to you and help you along on your journey as well. But this is where we're going to end it today. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.